everyone always tells you in business that you have to diversify your portfolio, create different revenue streams, all of that, right? So we were able to do that and get off the street corner. I felt like we were pipping some hose there, excuse my French, but it's just set up on a street corner and you're at the whim and mercy of whoever happens to drive by or whoever happens to see your social media and all of that. Through that, we got a lot of exposure. We got noticed by K-State University, and they gave me my first big break. They asked me to set up there for a full year inside Bosco Student Plaza, what enabled me to leave my 9 to 5 job and focus purely on what I'm doing now.
This episode is brought to you by Pierre Tax and Accounting, led by CPA Eric Pierre, a seasoned accounting and tax expert with years of experience helping individuals and businesses navigate complex financial landscapes. Whether you need personal tax planning, business tax strategy, bookkeeping, or financial planning support, Eric and his team are committed to helping you protect and grow your financial future with clarity and confidence. To get expert guidance you can trust, check out Pierre Tax and Accounting at pierreaccounting.com. This episode is brought to you by my friend Silas Lagoy over at ForgeMark Wealth. If you're a high-income business owner or professional and feel like you're getting crushed by taxes, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. ForgeMark Wealth specializes in advanced legal tax strategies and wealth planning designed to help you keep more of what you make, grow it efficiently, and actually build long-term freedom, not just income. If you're making serious money but don't have a real strategy behind it yet, I highly recommend connecting with Silas and his team. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm joined by my friend Bobby Santacross, who's a friend of mine from Rise of Kings. He is an all-around serial guy. He has done restaurants, food trucks, catering, you name it, and he's just a solid dude. And I'm excited to learn a little bit from him. This is not a space we really had a guest in on the show, and so I'm excited to pick his brain on just food in general. Bobby, tell us your story, man. How'd you get into how did we wind up where we are today?
Sure. It started way back in the day when my grandmothers and I would spend time together, and it was always in the kitchen. So all the cousins would be outside playing and doing all of that. And I'm sitting inside cooking with grandma. And I was never hungry. And that's how I stayed the rest of my life. It just, so there's a Sicilian tradition that grandma is going to dip my hands in flour and I'm going to grow up with an affinity for food. And it came true. So I've done that with all 4 of my sons, and we'll see how it grows from there.
So your current situation is you have a food truck amongst other things. So talk to us about that. Like what type of food is it? What's your model? What do you do?
Sure. So we do a cultural fusion style of food. I'll take anything that someone wants and make it as authentic as I can, living here in Kansas. So cultural fusion to me, out of our food trailer, we cover everything from South American to American food, championship barbecue, some Greek, all of that on there.
And is it just pull up to a spot and wait for people to show up, or is it catering gigs, or what type of work are you doing?
Sure. So we're out here in Northeast Kansas, and we don't have the type of population to support just pulling up on a corner. So what I did was I went after certain key areas in Topeka. I wrote business models and business plans for food truck parks, and a couple of them have stuck. So we have places we can go every day. But my main business model is corporate and business accounts. So where we pull up on site, it's all guaranteed sales. I have a minimum in sales. And if they say yes to that, then I'll pull up no matter the weather.
Okay, that's interesting because I know some people in the food services space. How do you land those accounts? Do they come to you? Is it having a great product? Is it cold calling? Like how do you get the business?
So a little bit of all of that, honestly.
Yeah.
So having good food that's consistent with good customer service that's consistent will get you, repetitive gigs once you get your foot in the door.
I love that. So walk us through like the menu. You said it's pretty eclectic. Like what kinds of foods? Let's start with this. What's your favorite thing to cook and deliver? Like what do you love preparing for people?
So for catering, it's going to be the Italian side of the menu. I love a good saute rail. I love to just get to town on it. But as far as like out of the trailer, I would say our jerk tacos and our Philly cheesesteak.
Hmm.
So out of the trailer, we do four types of tacos: jerk chicken, chicken feta, chimichurri steak, smoked salmon. Then we do a lamb gyro, a salmon gyro, steak gyro. Um, and then we do burn ends and pulled pork and a white cheddar mac bowl.
That all sounds so good, dude. I'm like watering at the mouth here.
We have a chicken Philly. We have built some signature sandwiches as well. So one of them is our chicken Philly, and it's purely how we finish it. It's more of a California style. We throw the pico de gallo and avocado and all of that on there. But then staying true to our Kansas roots, I have a burn end Philly as well, and that's one of our biggest sellers. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, what are some of the challenges that you've had and what are some of the things that are going really well? Like, so it sounds like you've got a lot more than just the food truck going on. Like, what are some things that are going well with the business and what are some challenges you're facing?
So the best part about my business is the exposure into everyone who doesn't know me and what I do. So as they walk up to the trailer, and we don't know if it's going to be a homeless person or a millionaire, and we've had both come to the window, back to back. So um, it's uh, really building a model that's sustainable, and we have to be able to pivot. And COVID really taught us that, and it made me focus. Once I realized the companies and the type of company, the caliber of customer that I need to go after, I really focused on that. Because if someone wants to do business with you, they're going to let you know.
Yep.
And we had a handful of, Fortune 500 companies here in the Topeka area reach out to us and let us know. So I took that and I pivoted and I focused basically on that style of customer.
This episode is brought to you by 10x Nerds. If you're a business owner doing real revenue, there's a good chance you're overpaying in areas you haven't even looked at. Things like credit card processing, insurance, telecom, and more. 10x Nerds comes in, audits your expenses across 30 plus categories, and finds immediate savings. And here's the kicker: they only get paid if they save you money. It's a complete no brainer. If you want to keep more of what you make, go check them out at 10xnerds.com. This episode is brought to you by Rakowski Law Firm. If you're a business owner or have built a level of wealth, but you don't have your estate plan dialed in, you're exposed. Rakowski Law Firm helps families and business owners protect their assets, avoid probate, and make sure everything transfers exactly how it should. This isn't just paperwork, it's a real strategy to protect your legacy. If you haven't looked at your plan in a while or don't have one, go to rakowskilawfirm.com. What do you think is next for your company and your business? Are you trying to scale to multiple trucks? Are you trying to get acquired? Like, what do you want to do?
So acquired wouldn't be a bad thing at all. And we are working on some other things. Everyone always tells you in business that you have to diversify your portfolio, create different revenue streams, all of that, right? So we were able to do that and get off the street corner. I felt like we were pimping some hoes there, excuse my French, but it's just, set up on a street corner and you're at the whim and mercy of whoever happens to drive by or whoever happens to see your social media and all of that. So through that, we got a lot of exposure. We got noticed by K-State University, and they gave me my first big break. When the student union went down for renovation, they asked me to set up there for a full year inside Bosco Student Plaza. And then, so that was 10 years ago. And that was what enabled me to leave my 9 to 5 job and focus purely on what I'm doing now. I figured if I can't figure it out within 12 months, it'll remain a side hustle and I'll get a job and just do this on weekends. So now what we've done is over the last 10 years, we've built it in from the food trailer to another food truck. We had an ice cream truck, which I sold last year. We got exposed to a couple of high-end restaurants that were opening. and I happened to know the family of one of them. So I reached out to him. We helped open the White Linen. And because of that, I met Pedro, and he is like the extraordinaire consultant behind all the restaurants in Topeka. He had an opportunity where a school lunch program approached him and said, "Hey, we would love you to take this under your wing."
Mm.
He, to make it better and improve it and all of that. So Pedro reached out to me. We came up and we built a program from the ground up that is now plug and play. We're in year 4 at Topeka Collegiate, and now Cara Paravel, which is another private independent school, has signed up for the 26-27 school year. So we went from a food trailer to a food trailer and a food truck, a school lunch program, and then we really started to focus on wedding catering. So we run 4 full service catering crews and a bar service. I opened up a restaurant out at Billard Airport called Sky Restaurant. That's a Southern Creole concept. And then just last night, we had our second soft opening for Benedict Bar and Grill, which is a local hamburger, smash burger joint. And it's here in my hometown.
Hmm. That's awesome, man. So you got a lot going on. You got restaurants, you got soft openings. What are you most excited about right now?
I'm excited just at the opportunities that tend to come my way just because I stayed consistent over the last 10 years. Our reputation is rock solid. I never know who's on the other end of a phone call now with another opportunity, another client, to where it's pretty awesome. And I wanted to touch a little bit on what you do as well, which is the AI and all of that. AI has, Dallas and I have done business because I mentored and coached him for a year. But he was the one who first exposed me to AI. That has been the greatest return on investment since I started business.
And in particular, Bobby, I'm assuming you're speaking about the just like the chatbot on your website to drive revenue and drive orders, right?
Yes, absolutely. It weeds all the tire kickers out. It sets them up for phone calls with me to where as soon as I get on the phone, it's over. I mean, we have on the phone, we're about a 88% close rate. But then once I get them to sit down to a tasting, we're at 99 out of 100.
And this is to be clear for your food truck business. Is it for any other lines of business you do?
It's for absolutely everything that we do.
Yeah. It's interesting, Bobby, you mentioned that because that's such a simple one too.
Yeah.
When people think AI, I think they get afraid of like how complex it can be. But a lot of these little chatbots for your website are just over the counter stuff. I mean, we're talking about something from Go High Level or HubSpot, like your CRM or a tool like Intercom. And so it's interesting. They're really not that hard to set up, but you said it's one of the things that's driven the most revenue for you. So it makes me wonder why more service, companies don't do stuff like that.
So, like for products that are new,
Yeah.
if people don't have someone that they know or that they can relate to that this has done very well for, then they're going to poo poo it.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't for me, or this is too much technology, or whatever, right? So, what we did was we went after another POS system style that has a built in CRM and also self order kiosks and all of that.
Yeah.
So as you walk up to our trucker trailer this year, there's no more window person. You self order all of that. It's opened up some other smaller events to me because I could do it with a much smaller crew to where now I can make money. And it's all through an implementation of technology. I mean, that's what I want my message to be, which is don't be scared of it. Try it out. If it's not a good fit, get rid of it.
What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by ExitWise. If you're a business owner thinking about selling your company, whether that's now or years down the road, you need to know what your business is actually worth and how to maximize that exit. That's exactly what ExitWise does. They help you prepare, position, and ultimately sell your business by assembling a world-class team of M&A experts around you, guiding you from valuation all the way through closing. If you want to know what your business is really worth and how to increase that number before you sell, go check out exitwise.com and get ahead of it. Bobby, what do you feel like is a challenge or something you're trying to overcome in your business right now?
So, and this goes hand in hand with some of the stuff you offer as well. I got to get lined up with an assistant that works. Yeah. And I mean, there are different strokes for different folks. And I'm a little different just because I need someone that's at my beck and call right now. And, some of the issues that I was facing there to where we'll have another conversation, you and I, and we'll iron that out and get something going because that's really what I need to free up time. That's what most business owners don't realize. They're going to weigh the pros and cons by how much money they're spending and all of that, and they forget how much time it's going to free up. So a lot of entrepreneurs, especially when we're flying solo, we wear so many different hats. We're the electrician, the plumber, the insurance agent, the finance guy. Man, just go find each and every one of those. You're going to make more money doing what you're supposed to be focused on, which is cooking food and talking to customers.
Yeah.
You can make more money in the 3 hours that it's going to take me to figure something out by focusing on what I do, as opposed to trying to unclog a drain.
Yeah.
That's just a simple example.
I mean, it's a good word, man. And so sometimes they don't stick, right? I remember one of the first virtual assistants I hired her because her English was really good, like literally could not determine an accent. She was in the Philippines. I thought she looked very polished, so I could envision her running Zoom calls with clients and stuff. But when we hopped onto our first meeting, she was literally typing like this. And I was like, this is not going to work. I don't care how good your English is. If you're typing like this, you're not going to be fast enough for me. And I literally let her go on that call. I was like, this isn't going to work. And I'm glad I did, because then I hired in her place a girl named Kayla. And Kayla has been with me for 4 or 5 years, and she is a stud. Right. And so,
Oh yeah.
it's part of staffing, dude. Like sometimes you get a dud. It's not a fit. But so one of the things, it's funny you mentioned that I've started this business a year ago because of Ruck, and guy told me to create freedom for business owners. And I've realized that what we do better than anybody is executive assistance. So I've actually started to move up in the market and like, look, this is my Mercedes Benz.
Yes.
This is the best of the best. And when you get a good one, it's like that. Right. And so that's where I want to be. Basically, there's a company called Athena that really works with Silicon Valley execs. I want to be the Athena of the blue collar space. So that's kind of my vision. So, bro, we'll get it right. We're going to get you somebody. I'm going to get you a Kayla or a Heather, and we're going to kick ass.
I have no doubt of that at all. And really, it was just, I was focused on opening up Benedict Bar and Grill to where this came up out of nowhere. It's a local hamburger spot that's been open for 70 years. Two brothers started it. The last owner decided to close it down because, family life and all of that. Not that they weren't successful. She didn't know how to exit a business correctly. So where I tried to buy it 3.5 years ago, and it didn't happen. And then she just kept bugging me. I just said, no, no, no. But the owner of the buildings came to me and said, hey, we don't want to lose this spot. Are you interested? And, we sat down, had a meeting. At the end of it, I told him, I'm interested. Let's continue this. And then we had a second meeting. And by then I realized, it's not for me. Just because that's a certain criteria. Like it has to be a building ready to go, upgraded, renovated, and came back to me with a third proposal that I couldn't walk away from. We all sat down together, and the first thing that Juan Miguel's business partner that I hadn't ever met before, he's a Colombian, Miguel is a Mexican. And so we're with a bunch of, Hispanic, and they wanted to turn this into a Mexican hamburger joint. And I said, no way. Right. But the first sentence that Juan told me, I live in a small town. with a traditional Roman Catholic church and school here. That's why we moved here back in 91. And he said, we are going to be unapologetically Catholic here at Benedict Bar and Grill. And just that one phrase, we're going to be unapologetically Catholic. It goes right in with Rise Up Kings. It goes in with faith-based ministry. It goes in with everything that I wanted to do here.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm in. And just judging by the response of our two soft openings, we fed 300 people. We had 4 orders returned. And I mean, that was our first time working together with all of our staff and ownership and all of that. And it's just when your core values align with what you want to do on a daily basis, it's going to work out.
Yeah. I love that.
So,
Bobby, what's something we haven't talked about today that gets you fired up?
man, entrepreneurship. That
That's
gets
right.
me
You
fired
coach
up.
people from zero to whatever in their food truck business, right? So you're passionate about helping people get started.
100%. When you said you want to focus on the blue collar worker, that's what I am.
Yeah.
I need all the help that you can give us, like, because I'm focused on operations and, costing things out and all of that and seeing if other events are a good fit for us and to where I need that help with the technology and all of that because I am not educated there.
Yeah.
So the blue collar is really where I focus on the entrepreneur side of things as well.
Yeah.
So we've built a funnel in our local area between our SBDCs and all of that, So if anyone's interested in the food business, they funnel them to me.
Yeah.
So, and it's been really cool. So off of that, I went from just donating my time and, helping people and out of the goodness of my heart to where they're going to want a lot of your time and it has to be compensated.
Yeah.
Plus they want the keys to the kingdom. And that took me, this is year 17 catering, year 14 with the food trailer. I've put my stripes in and y'all need to do the same. And your stripes are cashed to help me get you through the rough spots.
So I'm gonna push back on that a little bit because I had a friend from CrossFit. She had an amazing Vietnamese food truck. And I hear more often than not people starting food trucks and then being like, wait a sec, this is not what I thought it would be. And like selling it or getting out of it, which is what she did because she felt like she always had to be in the damn food truck. Right. So what would you say to someone who's like, well, I'm afraid that this thing's just gonna be I'm literally gonna live in this thing and forsake my relationships with people to keep this thing afloat.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to look at your business model and your business plan, and we're going to see exactly what you have figured out, right? Most of the time, they don't have anything figured out. They don't realize that one day of prep is good for 5 days of service. If you have, a commissary kitchen or something like that, that's going to help you be way more successful. And then all it is finding the correct person or people that you bring in, you train them to your standard, and you hold them accountable to that.
Yeah.
So last year, I spent more time training than I did working on my business,
Hmm.
and it's paid the dividends 12 months out.
Hmm.
So,
It's amazing.
and it's also like, where do you want to go and set up? And that's why the business model, business plan are super important. Because if there are food truck parks around, well, let's go ahead and get in there. And, that's a daily place where you can work. And most of the time, that marketing and branding and all that are associated with that. So let's get you in there and get you working there. And then
Yep.
also it's instituting, minimums in sales and all of that. And, so when everybody calls you or whichever customer calls you, you're educating them on what you need and then seeing if it's a good fit.
Yeah. I love it. Um, let's talk about Ruck for a sec. That's how we know each other. I know it's changed your life. I always try to get a little bit of a soundbite or something. What's one of the biggest changes or ways it's impacted you?
Man. So Rise of Kings was really at the beginning of my personal growth journey. And now we are almost, so July will be 4 years with Rise of Kings. And the impact that it's had on my life, it's almost beyond like words, right? The focusing on family and the different aspects and being intentional, and then always getting pushed to have that separation between business and work life. I've kind of coined it as an integration, right? Because sometimes my family needs more time, sometimes my business needs more time. But as long as I stay intentional, and that's been the biggest thing. And with Rise Up Kings, it gives you the aspect of the brotherhood that most of the time is lacking in our life.
Mm.
I've never had a brotherhood growing up. That was my first exposure to it. And it was eye opening. Like guys that don't judge you, they take you for who you are. And then there's a game plan set up behind you to make you responsible and then hold you accountable. So in that time, in the last 3.5 years, I've quadrupled my business. I've got a brotherhood. I've really cemented being intentional with my family on every level. I've improved my faith pillar by double, triple, quadruple. So it's all about how you live your life, and they show you how to live your life a different way, being associated and closely knit with God.
That's a great word, man. What's cool to me is like the different parts of the country. Like I was talking to a guy in Iowa the other day. Actually, you probably know him, Sean Ruhlman.
But yeah,
Another
oh yeah,
fruit truck guy. And he like needed some help with something. And I'm like, well, I bet I know somebody. And I like just pulled up the Ruck app. I'm like, I know this guy right here in the Ruck app knows somebody that can help this guy. And I know like I literally had a call this day, this morning. I like every morning I'll pull up the Ruck app. I'll pull up my list of, people. I'm like, well, I don't recognize that guy's name. And I'll try to call at least one a day where I'm like, Lord, like, is this somebody you want me to reach out to? Had such an encouraging conversation. I don't even remember the guy's name, and he just got through Ruck. He finished like in December, and he's still in that like phase where he's like still like bright eyed and bushy tailed and like all systems go. And I was like, man, that was the shot in the arm that I needed today, because I have a community of men that is like
yeah.
appreciate, so it's great, man. Anything else you want to share before we hop off?
Man, I just want to say thank you to all the time and effort that you put in from the AI, the virtual assistants to this podcast to the networking group. Like I see why you're successful and why you're at where you're at. And I mean, I just really appreciate it.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the kind words. I told you I lost a bit of steam on the networking group, and so I get discouraged, and I'm like, is this?
Mhm.
And I'm at the moment literally sitting in discouragement, and I'm letting it stink up my day on this VA business because it's just not moving fast enough. And so I appreciate
Sure,
those kind
sure.
words.
Oh, you're welcome. And I mean, I think the biggest thing is that each for the VA, most of us, when we're new to exposed to it, we don't know what we need or what we want. So we need you to tell us by listening to like where we're at in business. You don't need this, you need that executive assistant.
Yeah.
And then I completely understand it's going to cost more money, but because it costs more money, they're able to get integrated with what I'm doing and me personally that much easier, much more smoother.
Yeah. That's good.
To where, I mean, don't get discouraged. It's a case by case basis.
Yeah.
And once you figure out that curve through experience and talking to more and more people that need a VA or an executive assistant, you're
Yeah.
going to be able to plug and play, plug and play, plug and play. It's just like any new business.
Yeah.
You know, don't get discouraged because it's been great for me. Don't get discouraged.
Thank you, man. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
Bobby, thank you much for the kind words. Thank you for coming on the podcast. Don't go anywhere. I want to keep talking, but thanks for coming. Oh, real quick, if people want to learn more about your business and who you are, where can they go?
Oh, man, all over social media, Bobby's Food Co. or our website, www.bobbysfood.co. And we're all over the place.
I love it. Well, thanks for coming on the show, man. Don't hop off yet. I want to keep talking, but
Okay.
thanks for coming on the podcast.
Sure. Thank you for having me, brother.